Violence found its way and put its claws in West Africa in the late 1960s. The Nigerian Civil War of 1967 to 1970 that took over 1 million civilian lives. Liberia and Sierra Leone were later to engage in protracted civil wars. Guinea-Bissau was unstable. Casamance continued to battle against Senegalese government. Mali, Niger were involved in Tuareg confrontations. Liberia and Guinea remained mutually suspicious of each other. West Africa was plunged in fratricidal wars engineered by warlords, militia groups and child soldiers. These wars caused untold frightening horror, pain and destructions of over 200,000 civilians. Fear gripped the entire West Africa as these wars threatened to engulf neighboring countries and swallow up the sub-region. Touched by all this, two sons of West Africa dreamt of a peaceful, security-conscious West Africa where communities should live in peace and love. A West Africa where Africans themselves will play strategic roles in ending their own wars. This dream they share with their mentor, John Lederach.
Welcome to West Africa Network for Peacebuilding, WANEP, a leading regional peacebuilding organization which was founded in 1998. I invite you to come inside to see what WANEP does.
Peace is so valuable, and yet in its nature it requires as much inclusion and as much collaboration as possible. And to this extent, peace is something that we all contribute to build in a long-term process that recognizes the contribution of everybody. It recognizes the contribution of all actors. It recognizes the contribution of victims. It recognizes the contribution of perpetrators. In WANEP, we put special focus on what we call collaborative approaches to peace building. We all have a role in contributing to bring about. We in the civil society community become the catalysts, become the practitioners who are able to motivate, to encourage, and to nurture this long-term process in which as many actors as possible are working together in a space that is secure and safe for everybody to participate. And this informs the very foundation of the West African Network for Peace Building. We call it a network for peace building because it embraces our member organizations with their different specialties from the community level to the national level and to the regional level to be able to come together in this space and make this contribution. And because we are a network, it then allows us to have the scope across the entire West Africa sub-region and in each country across the nation to the community level. And in so doing, you then begin to see a very interesting interaction, whether it's from the community to the national or to the regional level, in which the space that I have described now brings the participation of everybody, the contribution of everybody, and gives meaning to collaborative approaches to peacebuilding.
WANEP has a long history of using two-pronged approaches to its peace-building programming. The first one is from the national level, where national secretariats initiate and implement program on the basis of its national context, while the second one is from the regional secretariat, where the regional secretariat initiates and implement program from the regional secretariat.
At the national level, our networks know the situations and realities better.
And so we are better placed to engage with communities and governments
to intervene effectively. Nos réseaux nationaux facilitent une approche allant des communautés de base vers les décideurs. Ils expérimentent aussi souvent des projets qui les amènent vers de nouveaux domaines au niveau national.
Look at the West Africa region. The West Africa region is the region of Africa that suffered 3 centuries of slavery and the slave trade, followed by 200 years, 2 centuries of colonization. And at the end of it all, the 3 million people that live together in the West Africa community are divided into the small nation states of West Africa, except Nigeria, which continues to be very vibrant because of its population of about 150 million. Now, I'll give you this very quick insight of our narrative of the past, in which we have been divided into our current nation states, not because it was our choice. And what that has done is to create the unnecessary divisions that are also exacerbating some of the conflicts we experience. That the same people who are related from each country across boundaries are citizens of different nation states. And to this extent, therefore, you appreciate that our boundaries are artificial in terms of the recognition given to them by the international community, and yet in reality they are porous. Porous in the sense that the people do not respect those boundaries because the people were not even consulted in the drawing of those boundaries. But relate that now to the dynamics of conflicts in West Africa, and it gives you a very good understanding as to why the conflicts do not respect these borders also. The conflicts find space across these borders and immediately become regional in character, even if they started at a community level and at a national level in one country. The best example is the Mano River Union countries. It's the Liberian Civil War. The same actors that were fighting in the Liberian Civil War are the same actors who found themselves across the border and continued the war in Sierra Leone. And to that extent, in the very recent developments in West Africa, when we talked about the post-election crisis in La Côte d'Ivoire, we saw that some of the armed combatants who fought in Liberia and Sierra Leone were available to be recruited to fight in Côte d'Ivoire. And this tells you how conflicts do not respect the boundaries of West Africa, because the boundaries in themselves are porous and not respected by the communities who live alongside them. So what does this suggest to us? A West Africa regional organization in WANEP that says that we respond to these conflicts not just because we are working within countries at community to national level, but that more and more we have a regional approach. And that regional approach must have the capacity of the nation states working together through ECOWAS. And this is then where you see our direct collaboration with ECOWAS through a memorandum of understanding as a complementary role of civil society, but on our own modest means, that we are able to bring the people of the sub-region in civil society to also work together at regional level. This for me is the uniqueness of WANEP. This is what makes WANEP truly a different organization in peace building in the sub-region. And I'm looking for this to continue to reinforce itself and even take a deeper meaning in how we work.
Les programmes du WANEP sont conçus et exécutés en collaboration avec les réseaux nationaux. Ils sont conçus pour influencer et travailler avec les divers acteurs au niveau régional, aussi international.
The West Africa Peacebuilding Institute, WAPI, the West Africa Early Warning and Response Program, WAN, the Women in Peacebuilding Program, WIPNET, the Civil Society Coordination and Democratic Governance Program, the Non-Violence and Peace Education Program. All these contribute to the recognition and credence of WANEP in the globe today.
WANEP participe à l'opérationnalisation du système d'alerte précoce de la CEDEAO à travers ces zones. Il y a 4 zones au total comme la CEDEAO, la zone 1, la zone 2, la zone 3, la zone 4. Et chaque responsable de zone de WANEP collabore avec le chef de bureau de la CEDEAO pour rendre le système d'alerte précoce opérationnel.
WANEP recognizes the important role of women in peace building, hence the establishment of the Women in Peacebuilding program WIPNET, which ensures that women are well equipped Through WIPNET, WANEP builds the capacity of women and empowers them to engage in peace-building work throughout the sub-region.
WANEP is the civil society partner to ECOWAS in the implementation and operationalization of the ECOWAS early warning mechanism, while at the continental level, WANEP is a member of the Peace and Security Cluster of the African Union ECOSOC General Assembly, and also at the global level, WANEP is the chair of the Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflict and also have observer status with the UN ECOSOC.
And the partners.
WANEP partnership with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center has been unique and mutually beneficial.
Hi, my name is Bob Grolsma. I'm the Chief of Party for EWARDS. EWARDS stands for Early Warning and Response Design Support. It's a 28-month project which is funded by USAID West Africa. Its purpose is to strengthen conflict early warning and response systems in West Africa, and toward this end, we provide core institutional support to WANEP, and we support ECOWAS in their efforts to implement this conflict early warning system called ECOWARN for West Africa.
When we talk about WANEP at the international level, a lot of recognition now prevails, and to that extent, WANEP has special consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council, and at the level of the African continent, WANEP is the regional representative on the Economic, Cultural and Social Council of the African Union. And you have to appreciate this also in terms of WANEP's leadership role in West Africa as the West Africa regional representative of the Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflicts, which is called GPAC. And currently, I chair the GPAC board. And to that extent, WANEP provides the leadership for GPAC as at this current moment that we speak. And because of our leverage vertically from national level to regional level and to the international level, we bring so much to the international arena of peace building through the shared experiences that we have developed from the sub-region.
Catholic Relief Services, otherwise called CRS, exists in almost all regions in the world, and in the year 2000, Catholic Relief Services globally had a strategic plan that put a lot of emphasis on building peace. And one of the strategies of building this peace was to create peace institutes in all the regions where CRS existed. And in particular for West Africa, we had WANEP. And I can remember the regional director we had here in those days said, if WANEP did not exist, we would have created it. And since then, a lot of support came from Catholic Relief Services to help launch WANEP and make it running at regional level and also at the national level.
We in WANEP are happy at the development in which at the level of ECOWAS, in which we are a civil society counterpart and a real partner, at the level of the African Union in ECOSOC, and at the level of the United Nations also in ECOSOC. Then in GPAC, we think that both at the level of governmental institutions and at the level of civil society, we have a leverage, and that we're able to engage in this cross-fertilization of experiences and in this complementary role of how we are contributing to the peace and stability of our West Africa sub-region.
WANEP delivers a package of professional courses in conflict resolution and peace building to governments, businesses and practitioners throughout the sub-region and beyond. With highly dedicated staff, underlying our work is a commitment to professionalism and dedication to a world of mutual respect, tolerance and peace.
With its headquarters in Accra, Ghana, WANEP has strong national networks in these 14 West African countries: Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, the Gambia, Mali, Benin, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, Guinea-Conakry, Togo, Niger, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Liberia, and Nigeria.